Hey Radiant Souls, welcome back to my channel. I've missed you. It's been a little while since I've dropped a video here. I want to talk today. I'm getting so many questions from my one-on-one clients lately that there must be something in the atmosphere. There's something bouncing around about working with guides. So I want to share some information with you about that today. And so many of you gave me such wonderful feedback about the story I told about meeting my most recent guide. And if you don't know that story, I'm going to link it up here. But I wanted to share too the story of me working with my OG, my original guides, my team. So we'll get to that in a minute. For those who are new here and don't know what the heck I'm talking about, welcome to my channel. My name is Heather Mays. I'm an intuitive counselor, author, artist, animal communicator, energy healer, and I'm on a mission to empower you to connect to your divine radiant light and to honor that connection with all of life. So, are you someone who says, I do not hear my guides, I don't see my guides, I don't even know what a guide is, what are you talking about? I thought I was just here doing the human thing all by myself, but guess what? You aren't. We all have a team of guides. I like to call them your spiritual GPS, so your God positioning system or your God partnership system. So before we're born, we contract and we work with a team of guides who are gonna have our back essentially when we're here on this planet doing our human thing, which, as you know, not always hunky-dory, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge. We're here in density. We're here in a planet of free will. We're here in a planet where ego can rise up and challenge us. So it takes more than just us. It takes a team to support us. If you picture an astronaut, you know, there's someone who is out exploring space. There's also that team that's back at NASA that is feeding them information, that is tracking their movement, that is looking at all the calculations of the spaceship to make sure it goes where it needs to go and passing them information. That's kind of the relationship that we have with our guides. Or if you picture maybe a football game and there's the quarterback, that's going to be us. We're the quarterback. We get information from our coach. That's a guide. But there's also that team of people up in the booth who can see things at a bigger perspective, and they can say, hey, those special teams over there, they're really running this kind of play all the time, and you call an audible and you fix it, or you do something different. So the people in the box and the coach and the team at NASA are not the person on the field. They're not the person in the spaceship. That's us. We get to make the decisions. Yay. We get to be man on the field, but we have a team who has a broader perspective and who can help us and pass us information if we tune into it. So it's always there. But sometimes, because we're human and we do that human thing, sometimes we don't always ask. And they really generally don't help unless we ask. And what I find more often is we just don't know. We don't know how to do it. We've heard their guides, but I think sometimes we picture it's going to be like some sunbeam comes down from the clouds and there are angels singing and imparting this divine wisdom, when really it's a lot like a regular everyday relationship. It's a lot of day-to-day stuff. And when I say it's like a relationship, guess what? That's the best tip for you to get in touch with your guides too. Nurture that relationship. Show up to that relationship. If you were to go on a date with somebody, and, you order some drinks, you order appetizers, the conversation gets a little awkward because you've run through all the polite stuff that you start off with. And then the person across the table from you starts checking their phone. They're like texting, they're looking at memes. They're not really talking to you anymore. Are you going to invest time in that relationship? Probably not. You're probably going to say, waiter, check please, I'm out the door. So sometimes we're the people on the phone, literally and metaphorically. Our guides are there. They're ready to talk to us. They're ready to connect. They want to connect with us, because guess what? It is a partnership. They're not just here to serve us or be here for our highest and best good, although they are, but they are often also learning lessons, and we're helping them grow and evolve as souls as well. So it takes a relationship and a partnership, and it takes showing up. It takes being really grateful for those little signs and symbols that you do get. Back to our human to human relationship example, if you were to have someone send you flowers, and instead of saying, oh my gosh, these are really beautiful, thank you, you say, so I guess they were out of roses, right? They're probably not going to send you flowers anymore. So have appreciation for the signs and symbols and synchronicities that you show in your life, because I promise you those are your guides coordinating that for you on your behalf. So have that kind of interaction. Another great tip is sometimes as humans, we feel like we're getting information and then we immediately doubt it. Oh, well, that can't be it. Nope, that's not right. Or we get a little tired, we get antsy, we get distracted, like the thing with the phone, but this time when we're getting information, we just kind of dismiss it. No, that's probably my imagination. What if you trusted and listened to that guidance? Now, I'm not saying every thought that comes into your head is something from your guides, but if it feels resonant with you and it feels like love, and it feels like it lights you up inside, pay attention to that. Don't dismiss it so quickly. The ego is always going to want to come up and arm wrestle that, because the ego lives in fear, and anything that's coming along with love and light threatens the ego. So it's going to rage, it's going to throw a temper tantrum like a little toddler, but just play around with feeling worthy to receive guidance and messages, because that can be really helpful too. So I want to tell the story about my guides really quickly, and then at the end of that, I'm going to give you a visualization that you can do to connect with your guides. So those of you who know me know that I am a lifelong intuitive. I was aware of presences of energy behind and around me from as early as I can remember. However, there was a period of time in my early to mid-20s where, for various and sundry reasons that we won't get into, I didn't want to see, hear, touch, feel spirit and guides anymore. It was too much. It was bombarding me. It made me feel like I was really disconnected and disjointed with being here in a human form. And when I look back, I needed to have the experience of not having them to learn what that was like, so that I can teach people how to connect. So everything happens for a reason, but for a period of time, I said no more. I know you're there, respectfully, don't want to deal with you. And then I kind of realized after a while of that wasn't really me. And I felt like a part of me was missing, because it truly was. And I needed to start reconnecting, but it wasn't just like me saying, hey guys, where you been? Come on back. Because like I said before, it's a relationship, and I needed to nurture and work on that relationship with my guides. So I started to ask, can you come to me in dreams? Can you pass me information? And I've told this part of the story other places. I would get little tests, like they would show me a specific scene that I would then see the next day in my real life, and it would be something really abnormal and out of the ordinary. Or I would see number sequences in my dream, and then I would see those like on a receipt, or somewhere else. I worked with spreadsheets a lot, so sometimes I would see the same number patterns at work the next day. And so all of that was like the mic check that you do, check one. So we were reestablishing the connection. And there was a lot, that was, a long period of time that I did just that. And that was fun for me because I made a game of it. Okay, what are you showing me now? Where am I going to find that? Cool. What's the next thing? So made it really playful and engaging. And then one day I came home from work, and this was back in the day before there were cell phones so prevalent. I had one, but we mostly all still had those archaic things called answering machines. And my particular answering machine would show the number of messages that you had if you had any. So I came home that day and it said 0, but I picked up my phone to call somebody and it beeped at me, and that beep also meant I had a message. So I thought, okay, well that's weird. So I pressed the number on the machine to check the message, and it was this very raspy, whispery, sounded like not even a human voice, a male voice that, I had to really strain to hear it, but it was saying, "Help me, can you help me?" And it gave me head to toe chills. It just had such a texture to it that I couldn't dismiss it, and it really got my attention. And so I did what you did back in the day, and I *69, which gave me the phone number that had just called me. Because I thought, if this is it sounded like an older gentleman, and if this was someone who really did need help, I wanted him to know he didn't reach who he thought. Obviously he was trying to call somebody else, and he didn't get the number right. So I wanted to call and tell him that. I don't know why. That's not something I normally ever would have done, but I felt compelled to do it. So I call the number back, and it's not, "Hey, it's Bob and Maggie. We're out right now. Leave us a message." Nothing like that. It was just a different voice, again, a male voice, that said, Psalm 91:11, "For he shall give his angels unto thee to keep thee in all thy ways." And that was it. There was no beep to leave a message. There was no, "Hey, the mailbox is full." It was just that, "He shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways." And I thought, okay, that's a little weird. And I got head to toe chills on that too. And for some reason, I couldn't shake the feeling that was something, that was a message. So for the next few days, I would call that number, and any time of the day I called, same thing, just the message. "He shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways." Psalm 91:11. I would have friends call. I'd be like, "Hey, call this number. Tell me what you got." And they wouldn't get the message. I would call and the message would come up. So then I started seeing the number 9111 everywhere. Receipts, in just random paper, again, at work, on spreadsheets, on different things. I was still playing around with it. I was, by this point, a little freaked out, and I was like, okay, I asked you to come back. Did you have to do it so dramatically? But then I thought, all right, well, let's keep playing. And I would go to the library or a bookstore and say, "Show me the book where you are. Show me where 9111 is." And I would walk down an aisle of books, be guided to pick up a certain book, be guided to flip to a certain page, and what do you know? The number 9111 would be there. Now, it wouldn't always be the Psalm 9111. Sometimes it was, or sometimes it was a reference to angels, but more often than not, it would be how under an image or an illustration, it would say illustration 91.11, or it would be somebody doing math and they would come up with 9111. It was so freaky, and it happened so often. There was one time I was driving down a road, and there was a book had been thrown out of a car window or something in the middle of the road. And I thought, no. This book is not going to randomly mention angels when I pick it up. But I couldn't pass it by, so I pulled over to the side of the road, of course, checked traffic to make sure it was safe, ran over to get the book, and of course, where it had been thrown out, the page it was laying on said something about angels. So that's how I reconnected. A little dramatic, but again, what I want to reiterate to you is that it was a process. It was me following one clue to the next clue to the next clue, and really trusting that hey, this, I'm getting these clues for a reason, and bringing that element of fun and gratitude to it. So if you want to start connecting with your guides, here's a really fun way to do it, because what they have shown me is that they have an open door policy, but it's kind of like a double door. Theirs is always open. Sometimes we don't know how to open ours. And so it's like there's this little porch or a foyer in between the two doors, and we can look out the peephole of our door and see them, but they're like shouting through this really heavy door and we can't hear them all the time, but they're always there. So how do we open the door? So one kind of visualization that I like to do, there are two parts to it, and I want you to first really just imagine that you are making out this gorgeous invitation, like even more beautiful than a wedding invitation. It's embossed, it has gold, it says, you are cordially invited as higher vibrational, loving, pure energy. I don't want you just inviting anybody to this party, right? You are cordially invited as energy for the highest and best good, as my guides, to connect with me every, whatever it is, put a day, every day at 6 a.m. or, every evening at 8 p.m. And I want you to picture sending that out, huge, sending it out to the universe, and imagine your guides receiving that. And they come to that double door situation and they show up and they're holding that invitation up for you when you look out the peephole, and that helps you unlock the door. And then I want you to commit to meeting them at the same time. Like a relationship, if you tell somebody, hey, let's go for coffee at 8 o'clock, and you don't show up for coffee, they're not gonna really wanna meet with you again. So make a habit of showing up at the same time. Get to a quiet space, no phones, no Pandora or, whatever kind of playlist, no surfing the TV. Be quiet with yourself. If it helps you to do something with your hands, sometimes that helps our minds get into a different state as well. So doodle, draw, paint, knit, crochet, whatever. But sit in a quiet space with yourself and see what you start to receive. You may hear something, you may see shadows on the periphery, you may just feel a knowing, you may feel this really sensation like somebody's sending you a hug or somebody's sending you a lot of love. Take each little bit, be thankful for it, and continue to nurture that relationship. So this was a little long-winded and all over the place, but gosh, I hope it was really helpful for you. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment. Let me know if you try that visualization and it works out for you. I'd love to hear about that too, so drop a comment below. I hope you have a most amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.